Hey y'all, it's Mocha Mima. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're going to talk about this show. These couples are too much. Let me do my intro and then we're going to get into it. Work, work, work. To me, I can work, 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 work. See me do me dirt, 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 dirt. So me by that work, 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 work. When you walk a line, 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 line. In the cafe, drive me a dessert. Nothing to be lurking. Yeah. You make a like, now you not like it. You know I dealt with you the nicest. Nobody touched me in the right. Nobody touched me in a crisis. I believe that all of your dreams are duration. You took my heart, all my keys, and my patience. You took my heart, I'ma see for decoration. You mistaken my love, I brought for you for foundation. All that I wanted from you was to give me something that I never had, something that you never seen, something that you never been. But I wake up and nothing's wrong. Just get ready for work, 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 work. To me, I be work, work, work. Hey y'all, it's Mocha Mima. Welcome again. If it's your first time here, an extra special welcome. If you've been here before, thanks for coming back. Y'all make sure you like and subscribe. Click on that bell button for the uploads. Now, today we are going to get into Love and Marriage Detroit, another Carlos King production through Kingdom Reign. Child, these couples tire me out. There's a lot of growing up to do with the men and the women, and they have the friend that I do not like, Chelsea. Now, before we get into the review, let's go right into Chelsea, who I don't like. Now, here is her Twitter. I can't remember if I brought this up last week. Here's her Twitter, where she was talking about Anthony and what he said last week. He called her a little girl, told her to stay out the people's business, blah, blah, blah. So here she is. Here's her Twitter. And here is Chelsea, how she looks on the show and everything. But I wanted to show you all this. And I said to myself, what in the face tune is going on here? That's her now. Now she's supposed to be some account executive, like who cares? But this is what she says. This man got on live. Instead, I wanted a moment. Baby, the moment was yours. You earned that High School Music award. Girl, Chelsea is still not getting you. It's still getting you nowhere. And she's like, Christina hasn't filled her in on the drama yet. Girl, you're looking for a moment. And the only moment that you're getting right now is from me, because I've been checking and nobody's checking for her. So the only thing you're getting is from Mima, because Mocha Mima got time today and you are really getting on my nerves. So that's it. Girl, Chelsea, do something with yourself, please. Like, knock it off. Really, knock it off. She is annoying. They also had Christina in the episode, was also helping her to get some clothes together, but no, we'll get into that after. Let me start my review. Oh, before I start, let me show you guys this stuff. So earlier this week, it must have been like it was Thursday. So Thursday, I've joined Threads. If you guys haven't joined Threads, it's another Mark Zuckerberg production like Instagram, where Threads is similar to Twitter. So I had just signed up for Threads. I think it may have been Wednesday. So I happened to go on and I see Brandon on Threads. So he posted this, and I'll show you. I screenshotted the thing as a video so you guys could see it here. So see, he posted reunion show day, and that was Thursday. I said, reunion already? He said, LOL, that's what I said too. And I said, yes, the reunions happen after half the season has aired. But I remembered afterwards, and I did this video today. This was we're talking about OWN, and I know with the OWN shows, they do their reunions like after the second episode, because they do the same thing with Ready to Love. After the second episodes air, a lot of times they go ahead and they do the reunions. I think they do this for Love and Marriage Huntsville as well. They may do well. Love and Marriage Huntsville has the crazy split season, so their thing may be a little bit different. But to me, when you do the reunion so early, the you're not giving the cast members enough time to see what the other people have said so they can react to it. That's why you get all this discord on social media, because they're just seeing in real time what the other people said about them, and then this is their only time to challenge it, retaliate, whatever way it goes. And then this is, let me throw this in here. This is Chelsea, her thing on Threads too. Earth Goddess, yeah, girl, okay. So this is her thing. Every time my name speaks, it brings prosperity and abundance. Girl, this is her thing. I'm just gonna take her off of here because you know I don't like her. But that's where I saw that with Brandon on Threads, and I you guys probably seen it. I posted it up on I like cut it up and posted it on Instagram and also put it on in my YouTube story. So like I said, they've already done the reunion. It's all set. It's in the books for them. um and we'll see how that works out, and we'll just have to keep watching social media to see what they say. All right, so we're back to the continuation in the wine event. Bravo is asking Christina about holding Brandon back. Brandon, it feels like she is being held back. Bravo says in his, I believe it was in his confessional, he's saying that the showcase is going to be at the club. Brandon feels that Christina's not being supportive. Christina feels that Brandon's not being supportive. Like it's just the two of them. I wish they could really get it together. Brandon feels as he's being shackled by her. Like it turns into a big blow up where Christina is standing up. She's Anthony pulls Brandon away. Christina is starting to cry. She's yelling across the room. It just gets into a big thing. Christina lets him know she could get any man she wants. All of this is while the other people are sitting there looking at them. You know what? It's to me, it's like it's to me, it's very childish, and this may be me looking at them at my age, being older, and looking at them and being able to, in my experiences, being married 3 times and going through stuff, and being able to look at the things that people do, as far as my past, and looking at them like, Christina, this is the man that you married, and he was doing these things. And as we get into, I'm going to go around a little bit as we get into later in the episode, and Anthony and Brandon are talking later. Like he was in this lifestyle before you guys even got married. And when he met her, one of his artists had gotten pregnant. Anthony had said this, and he was in a depression. And meeting Christina pulled him out of the depression, and helped him with going through that. So Christina, you're not new to this whole thing. Like you knew this was the man you married, and I don't understand why you can't come to some of the resolve with this. Like what I found, and this was even in my own life with someone that I know in my own life. For instance, they didn't want their man to go on a man's trip, right? Trip with his boys. But she wanted to be able to go on her girls' trips whenever you want. You can't do that. Either nobody's going on any trips, or you're going on all trips together, or you're going to have to trust your partner. Like you're either going to have to trust your partner or get past the insecurities, and or you're not going to be together, and you're going to have to move on and meet someone else and start all over again, or whatever. And that may kind of harsh or sound whatever, but that is what it is. Like they're just, Christina is insecure. Brandon is telling her like she's gonna have to get to a place where she's just gonna have to trust her husband, and then if it's not gonna work, it's not gonna work. But this going back and forth, and it's like that's not the only couple. It's a lot of couples that go through this, and that goes down to Latoya and Anthony. They go well. No what? Christina and Brandon walk home, and one thing I didn't like, Christina. Usually the man will walk on the outside, the woman will walk on the inside. Christina was on the outside, towards the street, and I'm like, that's not even proper etiquette. But I was like, okay. So that too feeds into her feeling like she's not being protected by him. They get into a deeper argument. She goes upstairs. Brandon takes a walk. And even when we switch from the club, we go from the club, not the club, the wine event where they're arguing into this. Like, we don't see how they got to a place where they could walk civilly down the street. They just like cut that part off. We should have been able to see how they were able to get that resolved where they're able to walk home. So, Carlos, you guys, the editing was poor on that front. So he leaves. She goes upstairs to their penthouse. Then we go to Latoya and Anthony, who are talking about what happened. Anthony is a flip flopper. He goes with whoever's talking, like he goes with that. Like he like he talks about this men's movement, but also he's flip flopping when he's with his wife because in a way his wife emasculates him. Um, they talk about they talk about that incident. They talk about how they're, Brandon and Christina are always arguing or whatever every time they get together about that blow up. But the thing about it is, it's all three couples. Like, they contribute into each other's mess. Like when they had the other blow up, it was because of. And now, mind you, these are my thoughts, my opinions, and whatnot, how I look at it. Like the couples feed off of each other's mess. And like Kobe brought that thing up, like Kobe couldn't read the room. They were in their anniversary thing, and she brought that up, and she knew what she was doing. But Kobe is a whole nother thing. So Anthony and Latoya are talking, and like I said, Latoya emasculates him. But anyway, we're gonna move on. Kobe is at home with her parents. Russell takes their cute little daughter out so she can talk to their parents. Her parents are giving her advice about looking at the decision objectively about him wanting to be a chaplain and going to divinity school. Then Anthony's back at the studio called AT Networks. He's picking out looks for their lookbook that's coming out, which I don't understand if the lookbook is for the studio, if the lookbook is to help with the wine. Like, he wasn't clear on that. But it's good to see, show him in his element doing his work. He calls Brandon. Brandon lets him know that him and Christina haven't talked in days. He slept at the other house. Anthony's telling Brandon about his experience, and he drops this little nugget about the kids going through racism in the schools, which we found out later. And the kids are upset every day, and we find out later on it's because they live out in the suburbs, and that they're going through racism in the suburban schools. Him and Latoya talk about that later on when they go on a date night. He's telling Brandon that he doesn't want, like, I guess basically if the marriage splits up, he doesn't want someone else, the kid girls calling someone else daddy. Like, that right there, I thought was not needed to say. Like, there's some things that don't need to be said, and that didn't need to be said at all. Um, Anthony talks about you know how he had that dream of working for Disney Marvel, but then he had to go home because of Latoya said she needed him because of the kids and whatnot, whatever. Okay. So that was it with that scene. Then we go over to Chelsea and her troll friend, Christina, her troll friend Chelsea, who she's measuring her because Chelsea wants some more clothes. I thought that was just something that production had her throw in or whatever. They're talking about the event. Christina says she's a fighter. She's fighting for her marriage. How are you fighting for your marriage, Christina? I don't see fighting for the marriage. Marriage involves compromise. I don't see a compromise. I see you. Um, I see you. You want him to support you, right? However, you're not really doing things to support him. You're not understanding, and vice versa. Like the two of them, it's just it's a lot. And she says to Chelsea, she fight for her marriage, and if he wants to go, she can't fight him. Like the whole thing to me is just it's just really it's just crazy between them. It's just like when she's talking to her friend is and that's part of the thing too, talking to her friend who Chelsea, I don't think, and maybe we'll see more as the episodes goes on. I don't think Chelsea is the person that she maybe should be talking to about this at all because Chelsea seems like she's a button pusher. So then we go over to Latoya and Anthony. They're having a date night. Anthony tells her that he needs to go back to Atlanta. She says to him, she says something like to him as though she wants him to stop talking about it. She feels like he, oh, I'm sorry, y'all. That's my phone. Let me put this on. Do not disturb. Um, she feels that, she feels, wait a minute, y'all. Hold up one moment. She feels that he needs to stop talking about that. Um, like I said, he wants to go back to Atlanta because that phone call threw my thoughts off. Let me put this on Do Not Disturb. Oh, I hit the wrong thing. Do Not Disturb. Okay. So she feels that he was trying to move to Atlanta because he had a house there. The man has to live somewhere. Now, it's not clear if he was renting a house or he had bought a house. But she was talking about, she went further about talking about the racism in the schools because they live in the suburbs. They go back and forth over the issue. They talked about getting in the way of each other's dreams. He said if it was her, that if she had to go to California or she had to go somewhere because of her career, she has a doctorate in physical therapy because now what happened a few years back was that physical therapy originally they had to get their bachelor's degree in physical therapy and they changed the guidelines to now they have to have a doctorate in it. That's why she's doctor. So, and that's why she's able to be over the physical therapy practice and everything because she has a doctorate in it. And I'm not sure if she has any other degrees besides it. But he was saying that he would have held down, if the tables were turned. I'm not sure about all that with him and his man's movement, but okay, brother. But he won't hold her down and but she won't hold him down and him pursuing his dreams. Now, this is my thing. Like, I don't know what the deal is in their marriage if she did all this while they were married. It's not really all that clear with it, but the thing is, you have to, as a husband or a wife, you have to allow the other person to pursue their dreams within reason though. Like if someone like I mean if he was at his age trying to pursue a rap career, that might, I don't know if that's even a good example, but it's like some things like something like that where he was actually in with Disney and Marvel. Like a lot of people, that's a chance a lot of people don't get, like something like that. Why not allow him to do that? Where is her extended family? I know, I believe her father was a preacher or something. Like, why not get family to help you, to help him achieve this dream, and then that way he could have no regrets, and maybe you wouldn't be going through what you're going through now. I mean, I don't know, but anyway, we go over to Cat, Kobe, and Russell. They're at the gym. They do this rope sports thing to bonding to try to bring them closer. They talk about Russell becoming the chaplain. He wants to be a chaplain in the Army National Guard. She said he bring somehow they talk about being a pastor or whatever, and he's like he doesn't know if that's going to be his path. She's adamant on saying that she don't want to be nobody's first lady, and he said he expected her to be a cheerleader. I'm like, both of them are too entirely too much. So then our last scene, Anthony and Latoya go out with their friends. I think it's Tracy and Coach Walton. They go on a boat trip. So Latoya brings out and she says this kind of she's like, well, Anthony tried to leave us and move to Atlanta. But that from what I gathered from their conversations, that was not what Anthony was trying to do. He said he was trying to get opportunities from down there, do some networking and whatnot, and to be able to do movies and TV shows in Detroit. She says that Anthony resents her. Latoya's father is the bishop. He says to Anthony that they need to talk because he didn't like what he was hearing. Their friend Tracy, I think that's the lady's name, was trying to give them some advice. This is the thing, while he was down there trying to work and with Disney and Marvel and do some things, she was telling her family like he left them and all that kind of stuff. And see, that's where the problems comes in. And he was saying about how her sister and her family and even his family were kind of like dogpiling on him, and they were saying stuff because everyone is hearing what Latoya had to say, and they weren't really getting his side because I don't know if he was really talking to his family or what was going on with that. But like, Latoya, what were you doing? Like the thing about it, it's it's a lot. Like he finally ends up breaking down that he feels like no one was on his side, like everything was against him, and that's how the episode goes off with him breaking down. Here's the thing, like I said earlier with the marriage, there absolutely has to be compromise. You absolutely have to be able to let the other person experience some of their dreams within reason. Like it's very hard. It's very hard. Let me tell you, marriage is like working a second job. There's you're it's really, marriage is the first job. It's like it's harder than working, going to and punch. I say punching the time clock, but you guys know what I mean. Going to work for someone or work for yourself, whatever it is. Marriage is very, very hard. Then you throw in kids. Then if you throw in, if you have a sick relative, then you throw in all, if you're going to school. Like if you throw in all those things in it, it gets extricably more and more hard. And I see with these three men, and by no reason I'm not on the side of the men. I'm not on the side of the women. I'm on the side of Mokamima, and I only can talk about what I've experienced in my life and what I've seen in my life. You have to let people follow their dreams, and even in earlier in when Christina was talking. Christina was saying to Brandon, she's yelling about what about her career, this and that and the other. She already said she was an influencer, right? She said she was an influencer. She said she was a fashion designer. So like your kids now, I think their kids are like pretty much like school age, 4 and 6 or whatever, how old they are. Like as women, we have to kind of chart our own course. And I know this now as being older, like when I look back at when my kids were younger, like when I got my first divorce, my children were young. My children were, one of them was an infant. It's like, she was a little older. She was, say, infant because she wasn't even walking yet. But the thing about it was this: you have to, especially now. Now, this I'm talking when I got divorced. This was 30 years ago. So the women of the last 5 or 10 years, like you have to look at your lives differently. And the women of now, you have to look at it differently. You have to look at being self-sufficient and all those kind of things. Like you have to look at being able to, you guys do things together, but look at the primary caretaking of the children falling to you. And I know that makes sound old fashioned and whatnot, but that's what a lot of men look at. Like there's indicators of this stuff before you even marry a man. Like this goes back to getting to know a man, getting to know a woman, getting to know who the person is before you marry them or before you have kids with them. People only show the representative of who they are for like 30 days. After the 30 days, you know who this person is. You can tell who a person is by going and sitting down and having a meal with them and seeing how they treat the waiter or waitress. You know how they are from going in the grocery store by seeing how they treat the people in Target, Walmart, Wegmans, Albertsons, whatever store you're going to, Giant, Food Lion. I don't know the other stores across uh, the country. Like, you know who they are when you're in these spaces with them. So it's about getting to know people. People throw kids up in the game. They throw getting a dog, a cat, fish. They throw all these things up in the game before they get to know the person. Like, you have to get to know these people these days. And it's like these marriages, like I know all these married couples are still together since then because I see them on social media. But I see people, even now, I know married couples, and I see people having hard times. And I'm like, there's no need for the hard time. This is like, I'll suggest to people, like, this is my suggestion to you. Some people take the suggestion, some people say, you know what, you were right. You were right to do, yeah, because some arguments are not worth it. Like, some things, even like me with my kids growing up, there was some I'm not going to argue with you over what you're going to wear to school, but I'm going to argue with you over cleaning your room. Like, it's not even an argument. This is what you're going to do, and this is what you're not going to do, because some things are just not worth it. So, y'all, I'm going to leave it there because I could go all day, but when it comes to marriage and it comes to these couples, I see potential in this show. We'll just have to hang in with each episode and see what's going on. This is just a whole lot. It's a whole lot of. So, y'all, thank you so much for coming by and listening. Yeah, this is a lot. I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. I put out a lot of content this week. Please check out my interview about Essence Fest and what the Essence Festival tried to do to some small Black businesses. They are foul. I call them the Messence Fest because they are doing some foul things. I have some other content I put out there this week too. So go and check that out. Check out my shorts tab. I put some stuff up there about Keke Palmer on there, and I have more content and whatnot coming out this week. So I appreciate each and every one of you. Make sure you hit that like button, you subscribe, click on that bell so you get the uploads, and of course, as I do with every video, y'all, please do this.
Say it with me, kids. If protecting my peace makes me the villain, then bitch, my name is Thanos.
Y'all, protect your peace at all times. And if it means eliminating certain people from your life or feeding them with the long handle spoon, as my aunt and grandmother used to say, then do that. Like, your peace is paramount. Okay? So remember that your peace is paramount through everything. So with that, y'all, I'm going to get out of here. I will see you in the next video. Thanks once again.
I believe that all of your dreams are duration. You took my heart, all my keys, and my patience. You took my heart.